Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post this up to Facebook and all sorts of social media. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They have over 40,000 therapists working with them. They are awesome. I've gotten great feedback from everybody using them. So thank you. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay. So, hello, darlings. Okay. So, current events, there's just so much stupidity going on in the world. I can't handle it. Most of it has to do with police departments again. So, yeah. So basically, again, just training. I want to see police departments get trained. I want to see police people be trained in how to deal with mentally ill or how to deal with protesters or because I'm old enough to remember Kent State, and that was not a good thing. So if you want to look up Kent State, go Google it. It was not a good period in our history. So, yeah, just, our whole system needs to be overhauled, and they don't understand domestic violence. They don't get stalkers. They don't get mental illness. They don't, there needs to be a whole different level of training. So that's my current event for today. So anyway, okay, let's dive into what is going on with death and the narcissist, because holy cow, it's a whole issue. So I'm going to try to break it up into different sections. So first of all, when the narcissist is alive, okay, let's talk about that. When the narcissist is alive, they really, honest to God, truly do not believe they are ever going to die. Ever. They seriously, it's beyond their ability to imagine the world without them. They literally cannot imagine the world without them. Now, a healthy, normal person is able to contemplate the universe and go, oh, I am mortal. I am someday going to be worm food. Okay. We think about things like that. Narcissists never consider that. To them, they are going to go on forever and ever and ever. Amen. And if you've ever worked with attorneys and talked to them about this, which I have, they will tell you narcissists will try to control from the grave. Seriously, they will write wills dictating when and how you can use the money and when and how you can do this. And legally they can't, because once the money is yours, you can do whatever the heck you want with it. But yeah, they will try to control from the grave. They really think they have that much power. So let's step back a bit. Why? Why in the world do they think they have that much power? You are dealing with someone who, even though they're evil and they're cruel and they're mean and they're vicious and they're abusive and they've done all these horrible things, you are dealing with somebody who is operating on the level of maybe a 2-year-old on a good day, if the wind is blowing in the right direction. Generally, narcissists operate emotionally from either 18 months old to 2 years old. That's it. They're not, when I say there's no there, I'm not just whistling a tune. There is no there. Like, seriously, you're dealing with somebody who is just unwilling, unable to look at how really inconsequential they really are, and what do 2-year-olds do? 2-year-olds are very egocentric. It's very much, the world revolves around me. I am the center of the universe. What I think becomes reality. That's really how 2-year-olds think. And yeah, and so a narcissist, unfortunately, is doing the twisted version of that. And they think they're going to live forever. They think they can control from the grave. They try to write wills that will dictate who gets what, when they get it, and how they can spend it, and how they can use it, and what they can do with it. And most lawyers will go, stop trying to control from the grave. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, so in dealing with a narcissist who's dying, it is very difficult because they're in denial, like ginormous denial that they're even sick. So Narcissists are so strange. They do one of two things, okay? Either they're the boy who cried wolf and they're constantly going to the doctor, constantly having health scares, constantly getting attention that way. Okay. A lot of them, my grandmother did that. So she was constantly running the doctor for everything. And it was a way to get attention. And, poor me, look at me. Oh my gosh, something's wrong, blah, blah, blah. And nothing ever was really. So, or they are in complete denial that there's anything wrong. I'm not kidding you, I've had to deal with narcissists that were in their 90s, I'm not kidding you, who were dying. There was no two ways about it. They were dying and they were like trying to get surgeries that would, keep them going for other issues other than the issue that was actually killing them. And it was like, do you understand that your heart cannot handle the anesthesia and you're probably going to die on the table? No, I'm not. I'm not going to die on the table. Seriously, they are. Lights are on, engine is running, no one is home. Hold on a second. So there were two articles I wanted to point out. One was called Lying to Die, Why Narcissists May Lie About Their Health. This is by Christy Lee Parkin, PhD. This is on Psychology Today. And she basically says they fabricate health scares and it's to get attention. They're doing it because they get the attention that they want or need. And usually it's when they're collapsed narcissists. So the older they get, the less power they have, the less looks they have, the less money they have. So they want the attention, they want the attention, they want the attention. So, yeah, it's just crazy. They will claim to have all sorts of diseases. They'll do that. What is it? Hypochondriac. They become hypochondriacs. A lot of them become hypochondriacs, and they constantly are saying they're sick or they're ill or they're whatever. It's a way for them to exert control. It's a way for them to boost their reputation. They think they're going to get sympathy or that they're brave or that they're, fighting a battle or whatever. And it's mostly a way to get attention. So this was on Psychology Today, Lying to Die, Why Narcissists May Lie About Their Health by Christy Lee Parkin, PhD. I thought that was really good. Then the other article was Denial in the Narcissistic Mind, Pathological Distortion. Now, this is not just about dying. This is about our health. This is about narcissists in general. And the denial in them is strong. So refusing to acknowledge a threatening, uncomfortable, or inconvenient truth, and this was by Julie Hall, is developmentally normal, unconscious defense mechanism of very early childhood. So remember what I said. Narcissists operate from an 18-month-old to a 2-year-old. So denial is a very early childhood defense mechanism. Children may deny a bad feeling like jealousy to preserve their self-esteem, or they may deny destabilizing feelings like fear of an abusive parent to preserve the attachment with that caregiver. Like shock, short-term denial functions as a temporary protection against the full impact of something painful or overwhelming. But ongoing denial in adulthood, a defining trait of pathological narcissism, becomes a choice to engage in distortions of reality. So they choose. They know it's BS, but they're choosing to go into the denial anyway. So unless they have a psychotic break, they are absolutely choosing it. And very rarely do they have psychotic breaks. They have a sense of entitlement, unmoderated by empathy for others, and the type of personality disorder that is manipulative and self-serving feeds into that denial. Forms of denial: dismissive, pushes away the fact as unworthy of attention. For example, and we're going to go medical since we're talking death. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's no big. No, that doctor's wrong. They're stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. Justification. Well, I'll just do this and it'll get better. It'll be fine. You're right. Minimizing. Oh, it's not that bad. Negotiation. Negotiation is an outright disavowal of the truth. That's not true. The doctor's stupid. He's lying. He doesn't know. That's not, no, I'm going to go find another doctor. They often doctor shop. Or wish-based fantasy. I'm fine. I'm not going to take that medicine. I know more than they do. I cannot tell you how many elderly narcissists I have had do that. You know, they're dying, they're clearly dying. They're not going to make it out of this world alive, and they're in denial about what's going on, and the family members are just tearing their hair out going, I can't get them to go to the doctor, I can't get them to take care of themselves, they won't take the medicine, they're conveniently forgetting or refusing to fill the medications. Now, a lot of narcissists also have a weird death wish, which sounds completely counterintuitive to the fact that they think they're never going to die. But remember, it's all about control for them. So if they've lost control about everything, if there's the one thing they control is when they die, they will do it. Guarantee it. And which is why they don't fulfill their prescriptions or whatever. Now, the other horrible thing I've seen narcissists do around dying is that they are dying. Okay. Doctor comes in and the family is with the narcissist, or the family member is with the narcissist. And the doctor says, well, there's not much we can do. We could try this or we could try that. It's up to you. And the narcissist will turn to the family member or members and go, well, I can't be responsible for that decision. I'm sorry. This is your life, literally. But they don't want, they want to, even in death, blame somebody else for their dying. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. I swear to God, the things I have seen and heard in this profession are mind-blowing. So yeah, so they will turn to the family members and go, well, I can't be responsible for making that decision. You have to make it for me. So now the family members are left with, oh my God, this is a no-win situation. Well, yeah, it's set up that way. If that happens to you, my recommendation, put it back on them. Nope, mom, nope, dad, this is your decision and your decision alone. And watch them come unglued and let them. You know, this is between you and your doctor. You guys figure it out because I'm not going to influence it. So they do that. And I have personal experience with that. If you read my book, What's Wrong with Your Dad, when my father-in-law died, he was dying. John and I knew he was dying. He had 4th stage liver cancer that he was not going to make it. So the doctor was like, well, we could try chemo. We could buy him a year. And so he was like, well, I don't know what to do. And he truly didn't know what to do. He was kind of out of his mind at that point. So he turned to his wife, who said, I don't know what we should do. What should we do? And she turned to the sister, and the sister turned to John, and John turned to me. And what I should have done is put it back to the family. And what I did do is I quickly in my mind did the calculation. If we do nothing and he dies, they're going to blame themselves. At least if we try the chemo, they can say they've done everything. So I said, okay, let's try the chemo. Well, I went outside, the doctor came outside, and I literally pulled him aside. And I said, do not BS me. How long has he got even with the chemo? And he said, a week, maybe. And I went, okay, thank you. So then I told John, and John knew what was going on and everything. And so he died. And of course, the wife tried to blame me. And I basically sat her down. I said, how dare you? You turned this over to the entire family. I was the last one in line. I quickly did the calculation. This is what the doctor told me out in the hall. So if you don't like it, go yell at the doctor, but not at me. And so then she stopped messing with me, which was good. So anyway, this is what they do, is they abdicate responsibility. Now, did John's dad mean to abdicate responsibility? No, he was out of his mind by that point. But it's like they don't want to make the wrong decision. And so they want to be able to blame somebody even from death. Oh, I died, it's your fault. No, you don't want that. So if they try to do that, put it back on them, because you don't want to be left with that guilt or that sense of, oh my God, I made the wrong decision. Oh my God, what if? Listen, when you're dealing with somebody who is dying, there is no miracle cure out there that's going to make them not be dying. Okay. It's a no-win situation. And like I said, the narcissist knows that, and they don't even want to be responsible for that decision because it's not going to be a success. They're still going to die. Right. Seriously, the pathology is just so freaking deep. It's not even funny. So, anyway, so that's another thing I've seen them do is abdicate responsibility, try to push it off on the family. Nope, you turn it right back to them. It's not your job to make that decision. That is their life decision. So just put it back on them. So, okay, so dying. They are terrified of dying, most of them, okay? Unless they're the cult type, in which case they think they're going to rule heaven when they die. Seriously, but most of them are terrified of dying. They're terrified, 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 and because they don't know what's coming next, they're not in control. They're not in charge. They're not, they can't use their money, their wealth, or whatever. So they are terrified of dying, unless, of course, they're the ones that are doing it on purpose to kill themselves so that they have control over them dying. So there's a little different. It depends on your narcissist, basically. So, okay. So let's talk about the death of a narcissistic parent. Okay. So dealing with the whole funeral and everything, when you're dealing with the death of a narcissistic parent, is a landmine. It is a landmine field because you're having to make all the arrangements because 9 times out of 10, they haven't. So a lot of narcissists refuse to write a will. They refuse because I've literally heard them say, but if I write a will, that means I'm going to die. And I'm like, yes, you will at some point. Yeah. But they don't want to write it because they don't want to have to think about it because they cannot conceive the world without them. They really can't. They have no concept of mortality because to them, it's like, I'm going to go on forever. Of course I am. I'm powerful. I'm this, I'm that, they don't. And so they don't even want to write wills, which then leaves the family in a huge crunch because what happens if you die intestate without a will, the state will take over and decide who gets what. And it usually goes to the siblings of the decedent first, and then the kids, and then whoever else is left. So it's a really screwed up, antiquated way of doing things. Again, the whole system needs to be dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century. So anyway, yeah, it's awful. And they leave messes. They leave absolute mess. And the worst thing I've heard them say to people is, well, I'll be dead. It's not my problem. It's your problem. Can I get a middle finger for them, please? Seriously. Holy cow. So that's literally abdicate responsibility, not have to deal with it. They leave messes. God. Anyway, so oftentimes they will not make funeral arrangements because, again, they don't want to have to think about it, which is then it's left to the family members. Funerals are ridiculously, stupidly expensive. Honestly, I've had several clients that when their abuser died and the estate or the family or whoever tried to get them to pay for the funeral, they were like, dump them in a potter's field. I don't care. And I was like, good for you. You owe them nothing. They do not deserve an honorable way out because they were dishonorable in their life. So if you don't want to pay for the funeral, that's perfectly okay. Seriously. So the thing that I've seen funeral directors do, which really, really pisses me off, is they play on the guilt and they play on the emotion. So when somebody dies, well, don't you want your loved one to have this, $10,000 casket that's going to go into the ground and rot and nobody's ever going to see it anyway, unless they're really weird. Anyway, the point being is that you don't want to spend that much money on it. Okay. So if they feel like honoring their final wishes, sure, if you want to. But if you don't, please don't feel guilty. Just do it cheaply, do it quickly, be done. So the other thing that I've seen happen is that not only do they not plan for anything, they don't have final wishes, they don't have what to do with the stuff, they don't and they leave everything to the family, the kid, the whatever. The other thing that I've seen is that if they are somewhat successful narcissists, like they haven't completely burnt every single bridge in their social world, they will have a group of flying monkeys around them. At the funeral, you will more than likely have to deal with the flying monkeys. Okay. Okay. So here's my opinion on flying monkeys. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Flying monkeys, are one of two things. They are either minor narcissists themselves, and they enjoy being around the powerful narcissist because it makes them feel powerful and important, or they're ignorant to the whole narcissistic abuse thing and they just don't get it. One of the two. Now, if they can be educated, then they were ignorant. If you've educated them on it and they still are defending that abuser, you can tell them to hit the road. Seriously. So what flying monkeys will do at funerals, it depends on where the funeral is. It depends on a lot of things. So honestly, if you don't want to go to the funeral, you do not have to. Okay. I wish I didn't go to my dad's funeral. I don't like funerals. I don't mind memorial services where we get together and we tell stories, kind of like a wake, and, eat and drink and, share good stories about the person. That's fine. But I hate funerals. I do. I don't like them. And to be expected to be mourning for somebody that was abusive is really hard. Now, for me, when I went to my dad's funeral, it was more along the lines of, I was not mourning for him. I was glad he was dead. Of course, I wasn't going to announce that to everybody because that sounds kind of weird in the middle of, I'm glad that son of a bitch is dead. But what I did was I mourned the loss of what could have been had he been healthy. That's what I took that opportunity to do. So if you choose to do that, good on you. Now, dealing with flying monkeys at a funeral, they're going to be there. There's going to be a group of sycophants that are going to be like, oh, your mother was such an angel. Your father was such a great person. You just kind of got to go, I'm glad you feel that way. And then walk off. Again, I'm glad you feel that way. I don't feel that way. It's okay. You feel that way. Do you see where I'm going? I'm so glad you feel that way. And of course, they're not going to put it together. So you can do that. Okay. I had to do that a lot at the funeral because everybody was like, oh, your dad was so great. And I'm like, you didn't have to live with him. So anyway, there's that. Now, I have also seen it where the flying monkeys will recognize the scapegoat because, of course, the narcissist has talked about the scapegoat a lot to everybody, right? So the scapegoat comes to the funeral. The flying monkeys attack. Okay. Now, here's what I tell people to do. If the flying monkeys try to do it at the church, at the funeral, at the graveside, or any place else, very loudly, so literally everyone in the hall can hear you, or everyone in the cemetery, because, I take no prisoners, I'm sorry. You literally go, Norma, now is not the time or the place. That should shame her enough for her to sit the frick down. Do you see where I'm going with that? You get loud. You don't have to put up with it. You've got nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. It does not matter what the narcissist told the flying monkeys. They were all lies anyway. Norma is just a name I picked out. It's not anybody I know. So you just, if they come up to you and they try to start something, that's what you do. You call them by name loudly so that everyone can hear. Now is not the time or the place. Sit down if you really want to put emphasis on it. So yeah, that's what you can do. You have the right to be left the bleep alone when you're trying to deal with the death of your abuser, or you're trying to deal with the family, or you're trying to deal with the death of the abuser, the family, and the fact that you've got left with all of the legal stuff that now has to be done. You are under no obligation. Remember, fear, obligation, guilt. You are under no guilt, no obligation, and do not be afraid of these flying monkeys. Call them out loudly. by name and tell them to sit the bleep down. Now is not the time. So, yeah. And I've had clients do that. And it's been fabulous because for two reasons. One, the person sat down and shut up. And two, they took their power back. And the flying monkeys knew they couldn't do anything. There was absolutely nothing to be gained by attacking the scapegoat. And unfortunately, this is how narcissists they don't respect somebody until you put them in their place, which is really stupid. You should just respect people out the gate, right? Just be kind, be nice, be respectful, etc. But flying monkeys, nope. You've basically got to be like, you screw around and find out. Seriously, screw around and find out. Let's do it. Bring it. Seriously. And then they'll back off. So, yeah, these are all of the things that I have seen happen around the death of a narcissist. Now, family members. Family members are going to be freaking weird. So the healthier family members are going to be able to be like, yeah, I'm glad they're gone. I'm glad they're dead. They were not a good person, or, it's a relief, or, whatever. Okay. The unhealthy family members are going to be, oh, but they're saint perfect of the perfect parent brigade. They were never wrong. Seriously. So you remember the denials that I was talking about? So they'll flip into, they were never abusive. That never happened. They're perfect. They never did anything wrong. Blah, 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 blah. So when you try to speak your truth, they may try to shut you down. And in which case, again, you stand your ground, you dig your heels in, and you go, Norma, I know what I know. You can grieve that person however you want to, however. And then you state your truth. And do not tell me I do not know what I know, because I know what I know. So seriously, that's what you do. So is that going to piss people off? You bet. You bet. But you know what? Those are not the people you want in your life anyway. Seriously. So, yeah. Okay. Let me think if I've missed anything. Flying monkeys, dealing with family. Okay. So there's the denial. Okay. If the narcissistic parent has a golden child, that's when the weirdness over the will is going to happen. Or that's where the weirdness over the inheritance is going to happen. Or that's where the weirdness over the stuff is going to happen. Now, I have seen multiple times the golden child back a U-Haul up to the house and clear it out before anybody has a chance to go through anything. They do that because, remember, to a narcissist, love means nothing, but stuff means everything. And so to the kid, the stuff means love. So they need all the love for themselves. So they try to steal all the love for themselves because they're afraid of lack and scarcity. So that's why they get weird over the stuff. And trust me, it's just stuff. Stuff can be replaced, even stuff that supposedly has emotional value or meaning to it. It's like, okay, it's not going to bring the person back, So, but the narcissist teaches the child that the stuff means something, right? It doesn't. All stuff is worth is bringing back happy memories. That's it. So if I look at something that, my grandmother had, my Momo had, and it makes me smile, okay, it's worth it. If I look at it and it doesn't make me smile, or I'm just like, then it's time to let it go, So they are very much into the stuff because to them, money and stuff equals love, even though it really doesn't. But the narcissist has taught that stuff and money equals love. So there's going to be weirdness over stuff. There's going to be weirdness over money, and I often hear people go, well, I'm going to be there because they owe it to me and I deserve it. And Get it. I get it. I get what you're saying, but here's the reality, and you're not going to like it. It's not yours. It's not yours. It's the abuser's. And if they choose to leave it to somebody else, okay. Oh well. Oftentimes abusers will use the inheritance, they'll use the will as a way to keep people in line, dangle it over their head, you play to my tune, and I'll give you this money. But they're lying. They had no intention of giving you anything, really. They just wanted you to dance to their tune. It's not worth it. It's not worth selling your soul to get money or stuff or things. It's not worth it. And they're lying anyway. You were never going to get what you think you deserve, ever, out of the narcissist. Never. So once you let go of that, the narcissist has no power, no control. The golden child then has no power, no control. It's like, okay, take it. That's what you want, take it. No skin off my teeth. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So you just let it go. It doesn't mean anything. So, and I know that's a hard one because we've been trained that money and stuff equals love. No, it doesn't. The narcissists do not love, ever. They don't love themselves. They don't love you. They don't love anybody. They love stuff. They love things. They love money. They love power. But they don't understand what love is for another human being. So it's not worth it. It is not worth your soul. It is not worth dancing to the narcissist tune to get an inheritance because they're lying about it anyway. They're just going to leave it to the golden child. So anyway, there is that. Okay, so to recap, most narcissists don't think they're ever going to die. They refuse to write wills because they don't want to think about it. If they do write a will, they try to manipulate and control from the grave. If they are really crazy and a collapsed narcissist, they'll do the hypochondriac, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying, for millions of years before they actually do die because they're trying to get attention. Either that or they'll go into denial about their terminal illness and, oh, I'm not dying, everything's fine. The doctor's an idiot. I'm going to go get a second opinion, blah, 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 blah. So they play those games. Flying monkeys will try to attack if they are feeling brave enough, if they think the family's going to back them. And, you just got to really not give a damn what they or the family think. And you just tell them to sit down and shut up. This now is not the time or the place. And I'm not playing, And furthermore, if you really want to have this conversation, let me get you the name of my therapist and we can set something up. And I can guarantee you they'll never contact you. So, yeah, that's really, the will is going to be a point of contention, but don't hang your hat on it. You're not going to get what you think you're going to get. The golden child may sweep in and clear out the house anyway. So, it's a thing. So that is what I know about death and the narcissist. They don't handle death well. They don't. And they interfere with other people's grieving. So, one more topic and then we'll go into the questions. So if somebody is dying, other than the narcissist, and they die, the narcissist will interfere with your grieving process. They can't handle genuine, true emotions. And it makes them angry that somebody else is getting the attention, even though they're dead. So they will interfere with that. They will minimize it. They will, oh, it's not that big of a deal, or you weren't that close to them. Why are you crying over them? They're not that important. Seriously, they'll do all that. Or worse, death of an animal. Oh, it's just an animal. Oh, go screw yourself. Seriously. So that's what they'll do. They'll try to minimize, deny, it's not that big of a deal. They don't want you to have real emotions, guys. And it's really important to have real emotions. So anyway, that is what I know about death and the narcissist. Excuse me. I'm getting all choked up here. Not because I'm choked up emotionally. It's just allergies. Okay, let's dive into the questions. Okay. When the narc parent died, they had no will and left a huge mess to sort out. I am so sorry. Was this on purpose? 110%. Yes, 110%. So the narcissists are so bizarre. Like I said, their attitude is, well, it's not my problem. You'll have to clean it up. Not my problem. Plus the fact they're dying, right? No will, leaving a mess. They're angry. They're resentful. They want to punish you for still being alive. I know. The pathology is just, it's like, can you get any more screwed up? Narcissist, really? So yeah, they want to punish even from the grave. Even from the grave. Yep, 100%. So you're going to end up spending part of your life cleaning up their mess. Yep, 100%. It was on purpose. The narc parent never was organized during life either and had others to help her. So, okay, learned helplessness. Learned helplessness. I see so many narcissists do that, especially when they get to the collapsed stage. The victim. So that's the covert narcissist or the collapsed narcissist. Oh, I just can't do this for myself. You need to do it for me. Yeah, even though they're adults, even though they can do stuff, they don't want to. Okay, two weird things. One's kind of gross, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. They've got a weird obsession with feces. They will try to make their spouse and or their caregivers clean up their feces. So they will intentionally smear feces in the bathroom. Oh, I can't clean it up. You need to do that. What? No. So yeah, they've got this. I've had two of them now that I know of do that. Or they will they will be perfectly competent, right? They do all sorts of stuff, but they want to be taken care of. It's like that little kid thing. And it's not just a little kid thing, it's a power and control thing. I made you clean up my doo-doo. I made you take care of me. I made you da 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 da. That's really what's going on. So that's why they do the learned helplessness stuff. You just don't play. It's like, nope, not going to do it. You have to do it yourself. Okay. Okay, question. Do I have to sort funeral as I'm no contact with the whole family? Nope. Plus, I have no money to pay for the funeral. Absolutely not. You are under no obligation unless you want to. I mean, now that would be a whole different topic. If you wanted to do something, that's on you. That's great. But if you don't, if you're no contact, you don't have to sort out the funeral. You don't have to talk to the family. You can go have a celebration. Seriously. It's like, instead of having a funeral, go celebrate, So no, you are under no obligation to do anything for the decedent. Nothing. And I've seen family members contact a no contact person and be like, but it was your mother, but it was your father. The answer to that is, and I'm not doing it. Sorry, not happening. Not my problem. Might have been my monkey, but it's not my circus. You know what I'm saying? It's just, no siree, Bob. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay. All right, my loves. So that is it for today. Next week, we are going to talk about all of the fleas. We're going to talk about the perfect pictures, the perfectionism, the driving ourselves crazy without relaxing. Oh my gosh, that has been a big topic this week. So, all of the fleas that we picked up from the narcissist, the not allowing ourselves to relax, not allowing ourselves to, rest, be perfect, having to be perfect. I have to do this and this and this and this and this. No. We're going to talk about perfect pictures next week. And I want to thank everyone that came out to Charleston yesterday. Next one is going to be, these are my personal appearances. Next appearance is going to be Raleigh, North Carolina on May 11th. Next one after that is Richmond, Virginia on June 22nd. Next one after that is Washington, D.C., July 20th. Next one after that is York, Pennsylvania, August 5th. Next one after that, Philadelphia on August 10th, and then Nashville, Tennessee, August 17th. So hope to see you guys there. It's great meeting you. It's great talking with you. So you guys go have a great week, drink plenty of water, use sunscreen, and I will talk to you later. Bye.